So what then is our main advice for companies and for investors? For new adopters, our main advice is to begin. Sustainability is a journey, and so building the capabilities to produce strategies, to produce targets, to produce the capability to report on a regular basis, that all takes time, and the most important thing is to take that first step forward. These days there are many networks, including local UN Global Compact networks that can support companies in developing these kinds of capabilities. There are also guidance documents available from reporting frameworks such as the Global Reporting Initiative, SASB, and the IIRC as well. We would encourage companies to take a top-down and a bottom-up approach, meaning that there is a level of integration at the board, at a corporate governance level, that then feeds down into the operational management of a company as well. And finally, beginning your work with a good materiality assessment is always a great place and a great way to lay a strong foundation for ESG work. Materiality matrices enable you to really get a good understanding of the risks and opportunities that you have within your operating environment. For more mature players, really adopting a systematic approach to ESG disclosures will be important. So within the environment domain, for example, being able to disclose information about how your environmental impacts are managed from the supply chain through to your operations and onwards to communities and consumers, that's a sign of reporting maturity. And the same thing again on the social side, being able to talk about the supply chain management all the way through the operation and then onwards to communities and to consumers as well. We would encourage more developed players to develop a systematic approach towards ESG disclosures. And so for every ESG criteria that you report or consider material within your operations, really breaking them down into what you do in terms of policy, what you do in terms of action, and then what you have in terms of measurable results. So disclosures on KPIs and metrics. And finally, making all of that information accessible to your stakeholders, whether they are the people around your operations or your investor stakeholders. That again is a fundamental must do for companies. On the investor side, it's important to determine purpose. The kind of ESG research that Vigeo Eiris produces can be used in many different ways, from risk management to engagement, passive strategies, thematic strategies. Really understanding and determining at the beginning of the process what you are trying to achieve is absolutely fundamental. Linked to that, establishing a strong ESG dialogue with your stakeholders is also important. Working with research providers such as us to understand your needs so that we can better provide you with the information and the data that can best serve your purpose. Similarly, communicating on those ESG demands to your investee companies and then your aspirations to your internal and external communities as well. Measuring is important. Measuring at fund level, portfolio level, even as an investor today, if you're a PRI signatory, you are required to provide an annual report. And so measuring your progress and tracking what you do is again a great way of understanding whether or not you're actually really embedding ESG principles into your business operations and then through and almost through the value of your investments as well. And our last recommendation would be to collaborate in all of the ESG initiatives that exist in the marketplace today, whether that's in working groups with the PRI, with the Principles for Responsible Banking, whether it's at a thematic level in specific initiatives. There are so many ways for investors to come together and work collaboratively in order to forward sustainability objectives. Thanks very much for your time.